receivers were what we thought they were going in. Very talented crew, and so that was really the big reason for the outcome was that first quarter. I mean, obviously, and so to our credit, kept fighting, cut it to 28-10 after the first drive in the second half. But then we stalled out offensively a couple more times, and of course they added a couple more touchdowns, and so ended up what it ended up. Moving forward, we've got our last game of the season, our last home game, Rice Eccles. Opportunity for our seniors to play in the stadium and finish off great careers. I mean, these guys have had a lot of success while they've been at the University of Utah and in our program, academically as well as football-wise. Very proud of them. Every year, when you see your seniors walking out the door, you think, how are we going to replace these guys? I mean, it's the same thing every year. You think, God, we won so many football games with these guys, and now what? But that's the recruiting or the college football cycle. That's how it is, and the next class moves up. You recruit a new class to come in and take the spot of the freshman, and you just keep going. So, but it's going to be very fond memories with a lot of these guys, all of these guys, and also there'll be I'm sure a handful of underclassmen that choose to move on. There always is, almost every year, and so got to get ready for Colorado. They've had a struggle the last several weeks. I've been going through some things. Got a lot of talent. Their receiving core is really good. 5, 10, 12, number 5, number 10, number 12. The quarterback is very talented, ultra talented, completing over 70% of his balls and 27 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, I think it is. Just outrageously efficient, and so we'll have our work cut out for us in that regard. Got to regroup. Got beat up a little bit in this last game. We'll see who's available, but whoever's available will go out there and it's got to get the job done. So that's where we're at.
Do you want to talk to Justin?
That'd be good. Yeah.
Sorry,
no, you're right. You're right. I just get preoccupied.
I was going to ask it now.
Good job. Justin, what do you got, buddy?
Okay. The first 4 games, we looked good. The last few games, we have looked discombobulated in all phases. Do you have an explanation for that?
Discombobulated. Okay. Well, I wouldn't say against Arizona State we looked discombobulated at all in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't say we looked that way last week against the Huskies either. We played extremely well. This past game, we did not play well. So let's just address this last game and give credit to Arizona, as I mentioned. They beat us to the punch early in the game on both sides of the ball. You can't turn the ball over. A turnover margin of -2 plus the block punt essentially makes it -3. That was something that was critical to our demise, and so one of those games where seemingly everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Those games crop in every once in a great while, and so that was the discombobulation in that game. So, but thank you.
To follow up on the discombobulation,
yeah.
One storyline here. Do you think that there's a link when you have to play back-to-back big emotional games, beat USC on the road, come home and Oregon didn't go well, and after Washington, Arizona doesn't go well? Do you think the discombobulation is maybe,
for lack of a better term,
combined with the talent?
Sure, could be. I'm not making any excuses, because if you want to be a great football team, you got to show up every week regardless of circumstances and who you're playing. But there's been a challenging stretch of the schedule, to say the least. All 4 losses to top 20 teams, but again, nobody cares. I mean, we're at a point in our program where that's not a thing. I mean, we feel like we should be able to line up and play with anybody, and week in and week out, and have the mental toughness to be able to hold up in that scenario, in those situations, and find a way to get it done.
With Cam having made this decision, how beneficial is it to have that in place early as you embark on the postseason and the portal and trying to figure out next season?
Huge. That's a huge, going forward for our program, that's a huge component to our team. It'll help in recruiting. It'll help maybe a few guys that are on the fence. Do I come out? Do I stay? maybe those guys, maybe a few of those guys decide to return because of that. Cam has got to be one of the best, if not the best, returning quarterbacks in the country. He's won 2 championships for us. Ultimate leader, the supreme leader. He's an alpha dog, and can't tell you how excited we are and elated that we are. I guess that's redundant, but it's going to be a great start and a big part of our, outlook on next year's season.
You must have had some input with him and talking with him. What were some of the reasons to come back for a 7-year college football?
Yeah, well, Cam wants to play in the NFL, and I feel he's perfectly suited for that. And coming back and proving that he's healthy again and can perform at the same level, I think, and he thinks as well. I believe, not trying to speak for him, but gives him an opportunity to prove that hey, he belongs, and that he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the country, and help him. First of all, I think he has a good taste for our program and enjoys it here. He's very popular with his teammates, very popular with the community, and just coming back and plus a new challenge in the Big 12. I mean, that's exciting too. I mean, it's like a whole new set of circumstances. So you just combine all that, and I think that's what went into it. And I told him what I thought. I thought I would agree that coming back was in his best interest, and not just in ours. And I keep the all the self-serving components out of it. It's what's best for the player. It's what's best for the player always after the season. During the season, some players may need to sacrifice, change positions, do something that they maybe aren't excited about. But after the season and moving forward, it's all about what's best for the player, and I think that's what's best for Cam as well.
Just to follow up, it's going to be a pretty crowded quarterback room. Do you expect?
Probably not. Quarterback room has a way to settle itself and thin itself out. So I would say, no, I don't think it'll be too crowded. I think natural attrition and with that being the most volatile position in football, I think that it will sort itself out and won't have to make any tough decisions.
Not to get too deep into the weeds here, but do you expect Cam to be ready for spring, just given the injury and just how long?
We hope so, but again, that's up to him and the medical staff. But from my vantage point, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be. But that's, I'm just outsider on that part of it.
What are your thoughts about leaving the conference? It's been really good for the Utes and vice versa, and this is going to be the last Pac-12 game that the Utes play.
You just got to keep moving forward. I'm a guy that can really adapt to change just like that. I'm not a guy that thinks backwards or looks in the rearview mirror. Everything's in front of me and moving forward. And so after this game's over with, the Pac-12 is over with. It's sad. I'm not gonna try to spin it any other way. The conference has been around as long as they have, and has been successful and had so many championships across so many sports. It's too bad to see it go away, but it is. Nothing you can do about it. So you embrace the future and get ready for the next challenges.
You always play Colorado, I think, except for one time at the end of the season. Would you like that to continue?
Sure. I mean, geographically, I'm not sure how this is going to be all broken down, but I would imagine that the Pac-12 schools that are moving into the Big 12 will have a lot of play against each other pretty much every year, I think. I mean, the schedules, I haven't even looked at it, to be honest with you, but I would assume there'd be some regional aspect to it.
Whittingham is still kind of in flux. Do you have a number of who you expect to walk this Saturday, or guys that are maybe still kind of
maybe 12 to 15, as high as 18, somewhere in there. But again, just because you walk doesn't mean you're out. We had several guys walk last year that played some really good football for us this year, and so that's just. And we tell them to do that. We say err on the side of walking rather than not. Then that way, if you come back, okay, great, you're back. But if not, at least you've been recognized. So
A lot of teams are fighting for bowl eligibility. You've already attained that. It's not the Rose Bowl in the last couple of years, but just you talk about the importance of having those extra weeks of practice, no matter what bowl game it is.
Yeah, very important, and I've said it many times before, it's similar to having an additional spring ball. Not quite as much, but there's some similarities there. I think we've done a great job in the past of structuring the practices so our young guys get a ton of work. You don't want to wear your starters out and the guys that are the upperclassmen, but it's really, really beneficial for those young developmental guys that are, many of whom will be counted on to play for you next season. So,
Kyle, has Brandt expressed what he intends to do?
no, Brandt is still deliberating on what he wants to do.
I know you said you don't want to look in the rearview mirror, but how have you seen your program evolve from when you first joined the Pac-12 to now, and how was the Pac-12 beneficial in helping build the program?
Pac-12 was instrumental in building the program, not just beneficial. You know, having that Pac-12 moniker on your shirt and that conference affiliation ramped up everything in this program: facilities, recruiting, budget, salaries, everything. And so it was something that making the move to Power 5 was a game changer for the program, for the university, for the community, in my opinion. What was the second part? I'm 63. I got old, not good memories.
Just how have you seen your program evolve from
Oh,
the Mountain West
yeah.
to the Pac-12?
Okay, well, I think we've done a pretty good job evolving. You know, there was some tough sledding early. There was a transitional period in some respects, not in every respect. We came into the league fully equipped at the line of scrimmage to compete, but not on the perimeter. Took a few recruiting classes to get the roster where we needed it to. And then once we got some traction, what was it, like 2017, somewhere in there, we started to really get traction. And then we, of course, the last 4 years have played in the championship game, won the last two. So I'd say it turned out as good as we could have hoped it to turn out.
Kyle, camp still technically has to be cleared by the NCAA, right?
Mhm.
It's not happened yet.
Yeah, and as far as I know, it's a
Yes.
very strong possibility. I don't see that being a hang-up, but you're right. I think at this moment in time that still has to be paperwork and some sort of procedure that has to take place.
Obviously, a lot of issues arise from the injuries all season long, but
Yeah.
can you quantify the benefits of getting game reps for some of the younger guys that might be part of the future?
Yeah, invaluable. And that's, if there is a silver lining, that would be it, is that we've had a lot of guys that weren't really expecting to play much this year, play a lot, and this week you might even see more. You know, we got beat up a little bit in this last game, and so you might see more guys get an opportunity this next week. In fact, I'm fairly confident.
What do you make of the job that Deion Sanders has done at Colorado this year? Obviously, he came in with a lot of attention, but he's also delivered some improved results there.
Sure, they've won more games. There's every game but one I think was a sellout, whether it's home or on the road. Turned the roster over almost completely and certainly upgraded that. So is not the program better in every way? I mean, I think it is. You know, I haven't studied every single component, but from where I'm sitting, it's been a huge infusion of excitement, passion, interest, you name it. Nice shirt too. Best album they ever made. You agree? Okay.
It's a great album.
Great album. Okay.
Any other questions?
Have you looked at the?
Don't edit that out either. You always edit out my good lines. I have some really good lines, and then she sends me, and I watch it, and it's like, why did you take that out? So, all right. Someone had something.
Colorado's 95th against the run.
Uh-huh.
Love to run the ball. When you look at the film, does what you see match up with the stats? Is there a big opportunity there?
Well, we are a run-first team. Well, I don't know about run-first, very balanced anymore. If you're balanced, that's more run than most people do because most people are pass-heavy. But we're just getting into the nuts and bolts of the matchups. First thing you do is you watch the schematics, just the general, what coverages, what fronts, what this, and then you look into personnel, where are the advantages for us, disadvantages, and so forth. So we're just right in the middle of that process. But we need to be effective on offense. You hear me say it every week. We need to run the football, and hopefully this is a good opportunity this week to run the ball.
Normal game week, but you guys do anything for the team on Thanksgiving?
We make sure everyone has a place to go, and we got a lot of in-state guys that not only have a place to go, obviously themselves, but bring along 3 or 4 or 5 of their teammates, go to coaches' houses, welcome to come to my house. We just make sure that nobody's sitting in a an apartment looking at the walls on Thanksgiving. So yes, but there's no like team dinner or anything like that. It's just make sure everybody has a place to be with people and not be alone. Okay, thanks guys. I'm going to watch that and see what you do.